So vitamin D, we have two forms of vitamin D. The active form, which you get from your non-vegetarian food from animal source, okay, and then we have the inactive form. So the active form of vitamin D is called calcitriol. Okay, you get it from the animal source, and it is directly absorbed. The intestine does not have to convert it into something else and then absorb it. Okay, so it is very easily absorbed by the intestine. The vitamin D from animal sources. From plant sources, it is ergocalciferol. Okay, vitamin D2, calciferol. Vitamin D2 has to be converted into vitamin D3. Okay, pre-vitamin vitamin D3. It's a bit longer process as compared to animal sources. Okay, so these are the two sources of vitamin D: active form and the inactive form. Active form is from the animal sources, and inactive form is from the plant sources. Then also, there is a very large misconception that sunlight gives you vitamin D. It's not true. Sunlight doesn't give you any vitamin D, but your skin, within the layers of your skin, you already have the inactive form of vitamin in the form of vitamin D3. Okay, so the 7-dehydrocholesterol that will make activate this vitamin D3 so that it can be actively absorbed back into the human body, and this happens because of the heat that you get from the sunlight. The heat from the sunlight, it activates this kind of transgression into active form of vitamin D3. Okay, so that's how your skin helps in the resynthesis of vitamin D within your body. Sunlight doesn't give you vitamin D, it is just a catalyst. Okay, standing in sunlight, it's just a catalyst to help your body synthesize vitamin D on its own. Okay, so you can see the the flow chart here. So, under the skin, the inactive form of vitamin D, with the help of sunlight, will be converted into vitamin D3, pre-vitamin cholecalciferol. Okay, the same mechanism will take place in animals also. What takes place in humans, the way how we synthesize vitamin D, it's the same way when you eat any animal source of food like chicken, mutton, okay, beef, or anything. The same source does takes place. The same transformation does takes place in the animals also. Okay, so you're directly getting this cholecalciferol. Okay, this stage of vitamin D you're getting from meat, not the meat which is organ meat, the meat that is the tissue meat. Okay, like the boneless chicken. Okay, when you use boneless chicken and all, mostly you are getting a lot of vitamin D from the boneless meat. Okay, so then the next is your dietary intake, vitamin D3 from fish, meat, and sometimes vitamin D2 supplements if you are insufficient. Okay, your body is not producing enough vitamin D, you are deficient in vitamin D, you will be supplemented. Okay, it is very common. Most of the Indian population are supplemented with vitamin D2. So, since it is a fat soluble vitamin, vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, it can be stored in your body. Okay, and it is stored in the liver. Once this dietary vitamin D as well as the vitamin D that your skin has transformed into, okay, it reaches your liver, it is stored there, and whenever it is required, the liver will release this vitamin D in form of 25 hydroxy vitamin D3. Okay, it means that your vitamin D is also has carbon components to it. Okay, so the 25th carbon component has an oxyl group, that is the hydroxy oxyl group, OH group. So that's why it got its name like 25 hydroxy vitamin D3. And because the liver is the organ which is adding this OH group, hydroxyl group, into the vitamin D3. Okay, and this 25 hydroxy vitamin D3 will get another one more OH group when it reaches the kidney. Okay, so from liver will give one OH group, your kidney will give one OH group, so it becomes 1 comma 25. The first carbon atom and the 25th carbon atom both will have an OH group. Okay, so 1 25 dihydroxy vitamin D3. So that's how the name comes into formation. And this is what, okay, this is the vitamin D3 which functions like a hormone, not the cholecalciferol, not the vitamin D which you get from dietary intake, not the 25 hydroxy vitamin D3, but only and only 1,25 dihydroxy vitamin D3 is the only form of vitamin D which can act as an hormone in the way that it will guide, it will signal the intestine to absorb more calcium and phosphorus as and when required. So this is the reason why we call vitamin D, it's kind of a hormone. It's hormonal in nature. The way how it acts is hormonal in nature. So because it is released from one point of an organ, okay, and whatever is a hormone, usually it is released from one source, but it acts on another organ, and it is traveling via blood. Okay, this is what a basic requirement of any enzyme or any fluid that is being secreted by your body. If it has to fulfill its requirement as a hormone, it has to be it has to origin from one point of the body, but it has to act on another point in the body, and it has to travel only through blood. Okay, so this vitamin 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3 is a form of vitamin D3 which exceptionally does this. Okay, it is originated, this form of vitamin D is released by your kidney, but it acts on your small intestine. Okay, so it is hormonal in nature and it travels via blood. Okay, so is the pathway clear to all? Is this pathway clear to all? How the vitamin D synthesis takes place in body, why it is hormonal in nature? Is it clear to all? Okay. So coming to the functions of vitamin D3, we all know for bone health. Okay, since vitamin D3, the hormonal form of vitamin D3 is the one that will make sure that this video will be uploaded today in the YouTube channel. Okay, so please go check that. Okay, if you want a repeat explanation to that, please check the video again once it is uploaded in the YouTube channel. Today itself it will be uploaded. Okay, so it helps to form and keep your sports as well as teeth healthy. Why? Because vitamin D3 is the one hormonal vitamin that will make sure the intestine, your small intestine, is absorbing enough amount of calcium as well as phosphorus. And it's not just about the absorption, but it is also about maintaining a homeostasis. Okay, means if there is too much of calcium and phosphorus in your body, again this 125 dihydroxy vitamin D3 will make sure the intestine should not absorb more because we already have enough. Okay, so creating this homeostasis is the function of vitamin D3. So your body can achieve, it will neither go into toxicity nor it will be deficient. Okay, no, it does not contain hormonal vitamin D. It is in the form supplements. When you take in the form of supplement, it is in the form of vitamin D2. Okay, this D2 has to be converted into D3 by your intestine, and then it will travel to the liver, then kidney, and then it will become hormonal in nature. The supplements are not hormonal in nature. Okay, because it is the form of vitamin D given in supplements is called vitamin D2. Okay, helps your muscles to contract, helps nerves to carry messages. Most of the vitamins and minerals have to play a part, because I guess you must have seen this particular function coming up again and again. Okay, like along with vitamin D, calcium. Okay, calcium also helps your heart muscles to contract, specifically heart muscles to contract, also other muscles as well. Okay, then your nerve ending, it will help in the transmission of the transmission through the nerve endings. It supports your immune system. So this is what I had explained earlier. We already have vitamin D under our skin in the form of 7-dehydrocholesterol, calciferol. Okay, then it is converted into pre-vitamin D3. Okay, again it is pre-vitamin D3. It is a much better option than the supplements. Okay, then by a hit, lumestrol and tachystrol are other form of hormones which are there in your body. One of them will suppress your D3 formation, and the lumestrol, it will support the D3 formation, because we also require a homeostasis at the skin level. If there is too much of vitamin D, you are exposed in the sunlight for pretty long time. Okay, you do not want too much of vitamin D being formed in the body. So tachystrol will suppress the formation of vitamin D3. But when you are not out in the sun that often and all, your body is already in a form of reduced vitamin D formation, etc. Lumestrol will help in pushing more formation of vitamin D3. Okay, so this lumestrol and tachystrol are additional hormones found under the skin. The only action they have is to suppress or to express more the formation of vitamin D. Then, with the help of the sunlight heat, this will be formed into vitamin D3. Pre-vitamin D3 will be formed into vitamin D3, which can be absorbed, and it will go into the liver. And from diet and supplementation, either if it's a non-vegetarian diet, you are already having vitamin D3 in its original form, it is easily absorbed by the intestine. If it is a fortified food, supplementation, or vegetarian food, the small intestine has to convert it into vitamin D3, and then it will go into the liver. From the liver, it will see, you can see 25D, the 25th carbon atom will get a hydroxyl group. Again, when it goes to kidney will also add one more hydroxyl group, so 1 and 25 dihydroxy vitamin D3. And this has the function of giving immunity to one's body. It will go and be stored in the liver for future use, and then it will help in bone health. And extra, whenever there is too much of vitamin D, it will again go back into the intestine. From the intestine, it will be pushed out of the body through your excreta. So vitamin D deficiency, you have rickets and osteomalacia. Rickets is the one we can see on the topmost images. This is a normal leg, how it looks like, and the middle figure, okay, that's bow shaped leg. Okay, you will see this formation in early childhood, children just above 5-year-old. Okay, if you start seeing a bow shaped growth, okay, that their legs are not straight, it is bow shaped, it means they are suffering from vitamin D deficiency. It has to be corrected on time. And this is a severe form of rickets. You will require a lot of physiotherapy, and some extension and some cords, etc., will be surgically implanted to make sure it helps the person to live a normal life. You will require a lot of surgery here as well as physiotherapy, etc. Then osteomalacia is what we see in adults. It means bone softening. Rickets and osteomalacia both means bone softening, but osteomalacia is more common in adults. Like during your childhood, you had sufficient vitamin D, but as you grew into an adolescent and early adulthood, your vitamin D levels came down. That's when you start suffering from osteomalacia. It's a softening of the bone, okay, and it will also could be accompanied with severe pain. Okay, bone mineralization will be affected, because if there is no enough vitamin D, your intestine will not know how much calcium and phosphorus it needs to absorb. Okay, so mineralization of the bone will be affected. If there is too little calcium and phosphorus, your bones will be demineralized. So risk factor: inadequate exposure to sunlight, specifically in the northern latitudes in the European countries and the northern parts of India also, wherever you have a very less exposure to sunlight, as well as in tropical climates wherever there's a dense forest and or tropical forest. very less amount of sunlight can peek through the high ranges, etc. People living or tribes or rural communities who are living in such areas, vitamin D deficiency is very common in this population. Then using unrefined cereals, they have done research in your textbook. They have mentioned on some puppies, they have done this research. They gave this puppy some white bread in their diet, and for few time, and it was then replaced by the bread which was made with unrefined oatmeal. And after few time period, they have noticed crickets forming in these puppies. So it means that using unrefined cereals for a prolonged period of time may um, suppress the formation of vitamin D3 within one's body. So it can lead to rickets or osteomalacia. Vegetarianism, because since if your small intestine is not, it's not true for everyone, okay, there are exceptions, but again, when your intestine is not able to adequately change the vitamin D2 into D3, okay, into the vitamin D3, it may affect the vitamin D3 storages in your body as well as other functions. Non-vegetarians, they can easily acquire vitamin D by, just by, even if you don't indulge in organ meat or the meat which like the chicken legs and all, okay, it is a kind of meat which is attached to the bone. The kind of benefits which you get from a meat which is attached to its bone, and the boneless meat is different, okay. The protein quality is much better in the boneless part as compared to the tendon area, okay. So that's an advice for vegetarians. If you are looking forward in for weight loss, you do not want to gain a lot of weight, but you want to include a lot of protein in your diet, having boneless meat is a better option for you, okay. It will not affect your vitamin D stores, it will give you more vitamin D. And vegetarianism, it does not mean that's the bottom line. If you're a vegetarian, you will get vitamin D deficiency. It's not like that. Okay. The risk of developing rickets and osteomalacia is a bit higher in vegetarians as compared to non-vegetarians. Okay. But if you do take an initiative to upgrade your health on a regular basis, do an DEXA scan on a regular basis once a year, and see what is your bone density, etc. And based on that, under the physician's guidelines, okay, only under the physician's guidelines, take vitamin D supplements. It will improve your health, okay. And prolonged feeding mother herself will lose a lot of her calcium stores as well as vitamin D3 stores from the body because of prolonged breastfeeding. Then skin pigmentation. Can you guess which segment of the population is naturally having a higher susceptibility of getting vitamin D deficiency based on their skin color, based on the race or skin color? Which segment of people would have a higher susceptibility of getting vitamin D deficiency? Yeah, Black Americans, Africans, people who have dark skin colors, okay, in general, those who have a lot of melanin in their skin, they have a higher susceptibility of getting vitamin D deficiency. Southeast Asians also, even in India, there are various people who range in different skin tones. Okay, so the darker of them, they have the highest risk of getting vitamin D deficiency. The reason being your melanin, the higher, the darker your complexion is, the more melanin you have in your skin. And melanin is one such pigment which will restrict the sun rays by it will not allow the sunlight or the sun rays to form that essential heat which is required for the conversion of vitamin D3 into pre-vitamin D3. Okay, so that's the reason why people who have a dark complexion, dark skinned people, they tend to have a high risk of vitamin D deficiencies, rickets, osteomalacia, etc. So they have to spend a lot of time in um, sunlight. Okay, they have to spend, like, if it is half an hour for a Caucasian, it should be more than 2 hours for a dark complexion person. Okay, but with the certain scrutiny which is around dark complexion people, especially in India, we have a lot of colorism issues. Okay, so naturally we Indians try not to spend much time in sun, not to avoid tanning, etc. So again, it is sending off a wrong message. Okay, health wise it is sending a wrong message. Then age, people who are older, senior citizens, they can't produce vitamin D, they can't convert vitamin D into its essential hormonal forms and all, as the best they used to do during the younger age. Okay, so old people are more susceptible to these deficiencies. Next, coming to osteomalacia. So it is like softening and weakening of bones because there is no enough, like calcium and phosphorus, magnesium. These are the minerals that not just mineralize the bone, but they also give the strength and that hardness to the bone. Okay, and when there is a decreased mineralization, obviously your bones will become soft. You can easily undergo fracture with minute faults, or you just twist your leg and it will lead to fat fracture and all. Okay, that is much more common with people suffering from osteomalacia. And also you can see here in old age people, okay, even if they have not undergone any traumatic injury, okay, they didn't fall anywhere, they didn't get hurt, but still, because because of not even bearing one's own weight, okay, their bones are so weak that it can't even bear one's own weight, and it will get these pseudo fractures. You can see the x-rays here, there is a slight breakage in the bones. This is a hip x-ray. Okay, so wherever there are joints, mostly the joints are affected with these pseudo fractures, because joints are the part of the bone which bears a lot of weight. Okay, your knees, etc., especially your knees bears most of the weight of the entire body. So the bones have become so soft and weak that it can't even bear its own weight. And yeah, accompanied osteomalacia will be accompanied with pain in the lower back, pelvis, hips, usually wherever the bone is drastically demineralized. That part of your body will suffer from extreme excruciating pain, etc. Okay, so causes again vitamin D deficiency, lack of sun exposure, diet which is low in vitamin D. Uh, for vegans, people who are vegans nowadays, please check the almond milk or soy milk which you get. Am I audible to all? Is my voice clear to all? Yeah. So people who are vegans, okay, give them the advice. When you come across vegans, give them the advice if they are using almond milk, soy milk, or whatever milk substitute which they are using, not the animal one, the plant-based milk, the ones which you get in the market. Check if it is fortified with vitamin D or not. Okay, that's one way of assuring that they don't get vitamin D deficiency. Okay, and for vegetarians, obviously you have animal milk. Okay, cow milk, buffalo milk, goat milk, whatever animal milk which you indulge in, dairy products which you indulge in, it has vitamin D. For vegans, check for the fortified version of plant-based milk. Okay, if you make it at home, see, people try to save a lot of cost, and they try to make these things at home. you will not get the fortified version. Okay, you can't add vitamin D from outside into the almond milk and soy milk which you make at home. So it's better you get it from outside, especially just for the reason of getting vitamin D. Okay, so there are certain foods, and even in Tamil Nadu there is a I forgot the name of the brand. Okay, in Tamil Nadu the milk which is quite commonly sold, it is naturally fortified in vitamin D, and many of the other states have followed this version of fortifying their milk with extra vitamin D to prevent rickets and osteomalacia in children as well as the entire population. Okay, so check for that. So diagnosis, you can take medical history, physical examination can be done, imaging, especially the bone density imaging. Bone biopsy is a little bit more painful. Go for the DEXA scan. Okay, it's not non-invasive diagnosis. Buffalo milk has a more fat content to it as compared to cow milk. Okay, buffalo milk has a more fat content to it as compared to cow milk, but the ratio of calcium and other elements is more or less similar, but the fat content is much more in buffalo milk. So treatment, you can have dietary changes, supplements. For kidney failure people, you will be put under specific supplements which will not impact the health of kidney, because kidney is a very important organ here when it comes to vitamin D synthesis. Okay, without kidney, you will not get the hormonal form of vitamin D. So kidney is kind of essential here. I don't know the I don't remember the name of the milk which is available in Tamil Nadu. But if any Tamilians are here, you can just chip in which is the milk. I don't. It's like how Amul is in Gujarat and Milk Mice in Kerala, and we have Nandini in Karnataka, etc. Okay, so similarly, a very common brand of milk in Tamil Nadu, but I don't know the. Yeah, Avin, yeah, Avin milk, yes. Now I remember. I guess yeah, Arvin is the milk brand which is fortifying itself with vitamin D. So people who had suffered from kidney failure and all, we can't depend on the kidney to convert the vitamin D into its hormonal form. So obviously they will be put under some hormonal therapy as well, along with the supplements which usually people get. Okay, so that's a treatment for osteomalacia. So this is the like if you take a biopsy or you take a cross sectional view of various types of bones under the microscope, you will find similar versions. Okay, so you can see here the normal bone, the trabeculae, the bone mass, etc. Trabeculae is this connective tissue which makes sure trabeculae, it's like a matrix. Okay, the blood vessels can just go through it and it can support each and every part of the bone. Even your bone receives blood supply. Okay, so it's through the trabeculae your blood vessels and capillaries form a network throughout the bone. Okay, so when somebody suffers from osteoporosis, see, ideally it's not about 6 months. When we say 6 months of breastfeeding, it is 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding. Means nothing other than the mother's breast milk should be given to the child. Even if the child is thirsty, you are not supposed to give water to the child. Okay, the child's hunger, thirst, and all the other requirements should be fulfilled only via breast milk. That is exclusive, 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding. After that, you can still continue the breastfeeding, but along with that, weaning diet has to be added slowly. Okay, you have to slowly add weaning diet, and after 1.5 year or so, 1 year or 1.5 year or so, depending upon the mother's comfort level and how soon the child is ready to uh, taper itself out of the breastfeeding, Okay, at least for 1.5 year you can do the breastfeeding. It will help you to control your weight as well. Okay, so after 1.5 year of the child's birth, slowly you can taper the child out of breastfeeding. So in osteoporosis, you can see the trabeculae, the mesh bulb which is supposed to hold on to the blood vessels to provide nutrition, mineralization to the bones. It gets destroyed over a period of time. There is poor connectivity and there is very poor bone mass. Okay, in osteomalacia, the osteal tissue, okay, the osteal tissue is the immature bone cells. Okay, you have bone cells, but these are immature and these are not mineralized. These are not adequately mineralized. They have to undergo specific physiological changes to make itself a bone tissue. So you have this red color, if you can see the red color border here and there. Okay, these are the osteo tissue. You have immature bone cells lining the entire area of the bone. It is not growing, it is not maturing, it is not forming itself into the bone tissue which can undergo mineralization. So that's the difference between osteoporosis and osteomalacia. In osteoporosis, the bone has formed already, but it after the complete formation of bone, it has undergone demineralization. Okay, here in osteomalacia, mature bone itself is not formed. So you can take a screenshot of this particular slide. It's a recommended amount of sun exposure. People who have various different kind of skin complexion, okay, from Caucasian to the dark skinned Africans, black Africans, etc. So from Caucasian to the most darker form of human population, how much time they have to spend outside in the sun for various seasons. Okay, for summer, spring, autumn, like monsoons, like in India it is spring or autumn, we can consider them as the monsoon season. And then in winters, okay, how long they have to spend outside in the sun. So the darkest skin people, they would require up to 10 times more sun exposure than the fairest skin people. Since they have a lot of melanin, it won't allow the sun rays to, like, see, you may also think that, okay, people who are dark skinned, they have a lot of melanin, so there is no requirement of SPF or sunscreen. It's not true. Then the sun protection factor, that is your SPF, that a dark skinned person has naturally, okay, it's more or less 7 or 8, SPF 7 or 8. That's at the darkest complexion, even for the darkest complexion. That is the natural SPF which your body has. When it comes to the Indian skin tone, the brown skin tone, okay, the various ranges of brown skin, your SPF, the natural SPF which you already have in your skin, is around 4 to 7, between 4 to 7, depending on how fair you are or how dark you are. Okay, so that's the natural SPF you have. So just by saying that, okay, we are on the darker spectrum of skin color, we do not require SPF. Okay, it's false. It's a myth. People who are darker in complexion, even they also require SPF. See the duration is written here. Can you see in the first row itself? The glass of the cars, the glass of your window panes and all, it can prevent only some part of the UV by not like it will reflect back only some part of the UV, but the others, the UVA radiation, the ones which will age you, the UVA, sunlight means UVA, UVB and infrared. Okay, so the UVA radiation can still pass through the glass and reach you. Okay, so that is the reason why, even if you are at home, okay, if you are at home with in a room which is well lit by natural sunlight, you still have to wear SPF. Okay, So for the sources of good sources of vitamin D, red meat, oily fish, egg yolks, tuna fish, beef liver, or any liver of like chicken liver, mutton liver, that will also do, because liver is a good storage organ of these fat soluble vitamins. Okay, salmon, mackerel, tofu. Tofu is a vegan option. Milk, yogurts, avocado, broccoli. Broccoli will have ergocalciferol. Okay, remember that. It's vitamin D2. And then some of the other options, more vegetarian options. Soy products, all of the soy products, milk, cheese, ricotta cheese, cereals, shite, shiitake monsoon or shiitake, I don't know how they pronounce this. Orange juice, oatmeal, butter, white mushrooms. So options for vegans, vegetarians, as well as non-vegetarians are here. But yeah, but remember this, if you're buying some product from the supermarket, from the market, just check if it is fortified with vitamin D or not. It will be much more beneficial to you. Okay. Then the recommended daily recommended allowances, RDA, at birth, at birth to 12 months, that is via breastfeeding. Okay, usually the child will receive 400 international units of vitamin D just by breastfeeding. Then for kids, 600 IU, teens 600 IU, okay, adults also 600 IU, pregnant and breastfeeding mothers also 600 IU. People who are older, okay, senior citizens who are at the higher risk of getting osteomalacia, for them vitamin D supplements has to be given, because via diet you can't trust the senior citizens that they will indulge in vitamin D rich diet even if you give them the health education. Chances are that the appetite comes down as you age. Okay, also the way how your intestine will absorb certain food, okay, that will also be affected with aging process. So it's better to put people who are above 70 years, put them on some vitamin D supplements. Okay. Then too much of vitamin D, dizziness, appetite loss, thirst, headaches, fatigue, nausea. Very rare, okay? Vitamin D toxicity. If you have overdosed yourself in some vitamin D supplements, that's the only way you will get into vitamin D toxicity. Otherwise, even with diet, okay, even with diet, you will not go into a state of vitamin D toxicity. Okay, it the only way you may reach vitamin D toxicity is either you must have jump started with with too much of vitamin D supplementation, okay, or you were given prescribed wrong doses of supplementation by your physician. Okay, that can lead to vitamin D toxicity. Very rare. The next about vitamin E and K. These two topics are self-study. Okay, and the areas where you have to stress a lot for exam point of view is just the function of vitamin E, function of vitamin K, the RDA, sources, deficiencies, and treatment. Okay, that's it. Only these are the areas. Just know, even in one word or one statements, if you can answer all these points which have listed down, the function of vitamin E, function of vitamin K, okay, RDA, sources, deficiencies, and treatment. That's it. That is more than enough. In the textbook, it is given. Okay, in paragraphs, it is given. Just read through the entire topic of vitamin D and vitamin K. Okay, do a self study on this. This is a self study chapter. I guess some of the previous batch students have done an assignment on this. I don't remember if you have done on this topic or the other topic. I don't remember which batch it was. Was it the February batch or the this August batch? I don't remember, but one of the batch, either the February or the August batch, has done an assignment on these two. If I find that that assignment, I'll let you know in the next class. Okay. Yeah, the previous batch have. I guess you are the February batch, Mr. Sujay. A single page assignment, I guess, highlighting all the important points which I have mentioned here. If you could just re-forward me the assignment which you have done, just let me know. The students who have done the assignment, just if it is possible, please re-forward me the images. Yeah, for vitamin B, it was for the next batch. I had given the assignment. All the different types of vitamin D, their deficiency, their sources, deficiency, in rows and columns, I had asked you to submit, right? That was for vitamin D. So the batch which got the assignment of vitamin E and vitamin K, if it is still there with you, just re-forward it to me. And those students who require that, just contact me. If I get that, I'll put out the message. So then whoever approaches me, I'll forward it to them. Yeah, Mr. Sujay, if you still have the vitamin E and K, it's better if you like, see, when you're doing self study, obviously you will make your own notes, right? At least that you will mark something in the textbook, or you will write these important points into a paper or into your notebook. So that itself becomes an assignment. Okay, so if you can put it in a nice format. Okay, and if you can take the image of that and send it to me, it will be beneficial for everyone. I just require these points: the function, RTA, sources, deficiencies, and treatment. If you don't find these exact points given in the textbook, it is given, but still, if you don't find it, you can still Google about it. Okay, find various sources, but don't go for private articles or private news sites. Go for something that is international nutritional and dietetics organizations and all, whatever they have sent out. Okay, pub medical organization and CBI organization, whatever they have sent out. Just check in those articles as well. Just make a single page assignment for this. Okay, column 1, let it be vitamin D, column 2, vitamin K, and the rows just fill up with this information. It is there in the textbook. That in the textbook it is given in paragraphs. Okay, in statements and paragraphs. You may have to go through each and every paragraph, read it, underline the important points, just transport those into important points into a notepad, take an image of it, and just WhatsApp me that image.